Hi, Jordan. This is Linda. Um, so I want to go over the essay with you. First of all, I want to compliment you on having an amazing sense of focus in this essay. It is right on point. I love that you say straight up that you have developed a literacy for fashion and that you give some background here and that you give a little kind of evolution here. Now, in this paragraph, I think there are multiple ideas happening right in here that could be connected to your controlling idea, but I would recommend that you break this apart. Slowly, as I began to mature, I became more and more cautious about what I looked like, and my mind began to wander to slowly wander into the fashion world, maybe wander. By my junior year of high school, I found a new love for fashion, and I realized that my dream was to be able to design clothing and start my own fashion line. However, I still virtually knew nothing about the literacy of fashion. So in here, we've got kind of a big gap from this childhood to where you are in your junior year with your love for fashion. I think that you can do some things in here with detail and with really creating a visual or imagery rich experience for your reader. And the reason why I know you can do that is because I'm going to come down here later in this paragraph when you are talking about your experience at Bait and going down Broadway. And all of these details are so wonderful. They are very visual and easy to follow, and they create a nice picture in my mind as the reader for your experience. I kind of feel like I'm there with you. I'd like to see you do this same kind of a thing earlier in your essay here. And I want to also mention that this would be a great place for you to add some dialogue or other critical literary narrative components such as dialogue, imagery, metaphor, maybe some symbolism or storytelling features. Conflict. Is there a conflict that you can kind of create with this? I think the conflict is hinted at here when you talk about how you were kind of one of those typical kids. I have three sons who put together their outfits without really thinking, and then how you evolved into becoming a guy that really cares about fashion. So I think that I would like to see you get more detailed up in here. Okay, so let's see what else we can say. Let's talk about this part right here. You have begun to explain what fashion literacy means. I have outlined in green those things that relate to the main ideas, and I think it's nicely organized, but they're not necessarily organized in paragraphs. You got to remember you've got a kind of an academic audience, and you need to think about topic sentences and what is the controlling idea of each paragraph. So again, I have a paragraph here that seems to have more than one controlling idea. The first trend, another trend, exposing myself to these trends. These are three different kinds of controlling ideas, and I think you need to break this out, add more detail, maybe some dialogue. They don't have to be long paragraphs. I mean, I want to, we're not talking about pages and pages here, but we're just talking about adding a little bit more interest, a little bit more show versus telling what's going on. I love the ending. I love this sentence here. I remember heading back home not only with a trunk full of clothes, but also heading back home with a new literacy of fashion. This sentence will have so much more impact if you can better design these parts right here, because then the reader will really understand what you mean by the literacy of fashion. In red, I have highlighted some things that I think don't work that great, as the sun was beginning to fall. I hope the sun isn't falling out of the sky. I think the sun sets. I think it's simpler just to say, maybe just take that all out. I would maybe recommend that you just, see if I can get that to delete. Well, let's see. Anyways, I would recommend taking that off and just saying the stores were beginning to close for the night, and I had begun to reflect on the trends that I had noticed throughout the day. The first trend, another trend, and then I thought there was a third one, but I may be wrong. Anyways, I think you need to be careful of cliche kind of statements. There was another one up in here. This one right here. Let's see. It was on a bright summer day where I began, where I feel I truly began to develop a literacy for fashion. It really wasn't just on a bright summer day. It was when your family went to Portland. So let's leave out the unnecessary words and just say, as school started to end, or as we approached the end of the school year and the bright summer days were coming. Oh, here it is. So you're going school shopping. I'm sorry. So as a new school year was approaching and the bright summer days were coming to an end, my family and I planned a day trip to Portland to go shopping. Now here's a great place to tell us, what are you shopping for? To go shopping for, was it school clothes? Or clothes, whatever you want to say. I still remember the excitement, and then we have this, and this is another really good place to insert some dialogue. So, this is a great paragraph for dialogue because you're with your family, you are in a car ride, there's some anticipation, all those kinds of things. You can have some talking going on. It doesn't have to be extensive, just enough to create the sound of your experience. Remember, it's not just visual, it's also, the senses are sound and smells, touch, the feel of certain fabrics, the feel of the air. You can do lots of things with imagery. I will say, Jordan, that out of all the essays I've read so far, yours is by far the most on focus. I have created this page here. This is what I'll use to grade the final paper. When it comes to focus, you are exceeding the expectations. It is really, really clear. There's a thesis, there are topic sentences. They may not be in the right order, but I have no problem knowing what this essay is about. So the rest of this is where you're meeting expectations, which is pretty awesome because, you're right on target. But I think you're one of those writers that could be exceeding expectations if you want to. Now, I know time is short and the way everything went with the peer revisions, and you're getting this back so late. So you do your best. I think this is a strong paper. The only thing that you fall below in is the required elements, and those required elements do include dialogue and more of the detail rather than just the telling. So if you want to focus on anything, I would focus on that. Anyways, it's been a pleasure to read your paper. I look forward to seeing the final draft, and I hope that this helps out. Okay, talk to you later.